Thank you, Aisling. So for an estimated 1 in 6 employees, workplace bullying by a boss or coworker can turn their 9 to 5 into a real nightmare. Valerie Cade is the author of Bully Free at Work, and she's here this morning with advice for how you can break the bullying cycle. And I'm glad we're talking about this on a Friday, so we've got the weekend to plan our strategy for a Monday morning. Thanks for coming in, Valerie.
Good to be here.
I want to distinguish the difference between bullies and just difficult coworkers, because I think we know a lot of them.
Sure. Well, a lot of times we think we can just sit down with somebody and say, here's exactly what I want and how I feel. But if you have a difficult person, that might work. If it's a bully, the bully is out for their own needs. So the bully is very intentional, and the definition would be disrespectful, repeated, but deliberate behavior toward another. And with a difficult person, they're usually out for their own needs, so they're not really consumed with what you're going through.
So what kind of, if you're being bullied, what kind of behaviors are you experiencing?
Well, there's a lot of passive behaviors that we might misunderstand, like being left out of meetings, or being in a meeting and everybody has information and you've not been sent that information. So the bully decides, what can I do now to leave that person out? So information is power. So if you don't have the information, you don't have the power.
Is there a difference in your line of work from what you see of a female bully and a male bully?
Well, that's a great question. Is there a difference between men and women? Probably.
Yeah, a big one typically.
Besides the plumbing.
Yeah.
Well, studies have shown that men might be more overt and women more passive. And so that could be, but I think it's pretty much the same these days. They'll use both types of behavior. Overt meaning verbal abuse where everybody can see it, but what we're seeing a rise in is the passive aggressive, where they'll take a target and get them in private and then bully them, but in public they're very nice. So everybody else thinks that nothing's happening.
Yeah. So if we're going to understand this and deal with it, we need to know what's behind that. What's behind the bullies thinking, their emotions? What do you know about that?
Well, that's a great question, because everyone wants to know, why does somebody bully? And at the root of all bullying is envy. And so envy is, oh gosh, you've got a promotion, I want that promotion. But because you have it, I'm going to do something to you to take you down. And for some reason, that'll make me feel better. And the bully is actually addicted to that feeling of having power over. So it's an addiction. Just like any other addiction, they need to have a fix. So they'll keep reoffending.
Give us some tools this morning. All of us might know somebody in the workplace who's being bullied if it's not ourselves. So what are some of your suggestions if we decide we're going to approach that bully?
Sure. My best strategy is this. Don't be alone with a bully. If you can always have somebody as a witness, then it tends to downplay the situation. The second thing is, if you're talking to somebody or they're talking at you, be the first to walk away. Have one line that you can say and then walk away and have somewhere to go.
Take that high road.
Take that high road.
But then how do you deal with that down the road then? Because you can't just always be walking away. For me, it would be really hard to constantly bite my tongue.
Right. There's two things. This would be a coping strategy, but if you want to solve the problem, the best advice would be to keep a log, and so you can show the repeated nature of the bullying. And once you've got something documented, then you can go to your boss. But 80% of the time, the bully is your boss. So I recommend going to a peer or your boss's boss. Some people say, isn't that an end run? Isn't that dangerous to do? Well, I always put it this way. If your boss was using food poisoning for everybody, wouldn't you tell somebody else?
Right.
And so it's almost the similar situation. So ask for permission. Can I talk to you about this for a second? And for the betterment of the company. And then have your documentation and show them. And then reassure this person, even if you don't have any clue what to do, would you agree that this is a problem? And so sometimes we see breakthroughs there. But if this is getting nowhere, then the best thing is to leave. And I don't advocate leaving right away. I think there are many times we can try something. And that's what I always advocate first. But if it's not working, rather than pull out a tooth really slowly, you might as well yank it out.
And get on with it. Well, there are some great resources out there, including Valerie's book, Bully Free at Work. This is also another great one, Discover Your Inner Strength. We'll have links and let you know how you can get these and get this material on our website, breakfasttelevision.ca. Valerie Cade, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a break here on BT.